trying to get them to skip out?
Not they the
Slow.
waterboard men, but I thought they were the waterboard men.
Yes.
That's why he was asking about your car, the cars.
Okay, record. Now, look at that. The movement of the gun. Look, again, if you go and do that, look, see, that's the flow. It's kind of a extremely stressed S. And then out of that, and then there's a move, or there is a line, or an axis line, that they call it like this. Yeah? In drawing is, you always refer to the axis line, or not always, but it depends. That helps to have that. And you have that here, movement, then you have the shoulder, and then the head moving that way, shoulders moving that way, you have the hand inwards, moving that way, and dress. Now, I'm going to draw something which we do not actually see there, which is basically her hip. We know it's, we cannot see, but we know it's there, obviously. So how to draw a hip you don't see? Well, the hip is obviously here. It's not obviously there, and you have the upper body moving that way. Hip here, upper body, hip moving that way, and then you have, again, we don't see the thigh, but we know it's there. So instead of doing, let's say, the upper thigh and the lower calf, or the lower shin, I would treat it like this. First of all, first line, second line, like that. Another line. These are basically major lines which you can come later on and put them into
Could you
place.
show us with the original extended S's then now?
The original extended S is this one here,
Right,
the axis.
through there,
But-
down that leg.
Yes, like an S curve.
And on your drawing now, can you?
And on my drawing, you see, and then move it down there.
Okay, thank you.
And extend it very
Just-
well.
I just
And then,
didn't-
and you have the shoulder, which Jane again, see,
Yeah.
look, moves there. And then you have the other hand. Another line of, from the head, move it to the. That's right. Don't worry. I'll fix them. Don't worry. And then you have the shoulder and elbow, shoulder and elbow, and then you have, and then obviously the upper thigh, and I said the hip is somewhere here, moving that way, and the upper body. Let me see, that part of the hip comes closer to us, and that, you see, look, okay, what I'm actually envisaging here is that hip is here, and that comes closer to us. So the hip is turned towards us, but the body, that moves away. Right? That moves away. So, of course, there's a continuation of that, but the hip, this part moves towards the viewer, and that part of the shoulder moves away. You see why? Because that is further away, this area. It's further away, and that comes closer. And look what I've done now. You see, I've created shadows when they're not, but on the original. And then look, they work beautifully because I can darken her dress now. And see, you can do that on the picture, and then that will obviously, you can see where you're going at least with this. And so again, hip moving forward, and the shoulder staying backwards there, or at the back, not backwards. And then you have another line for the arm. Look. And the feet, feet. Here. Okay. And her shoe there. Now, obviously, the dress, I was undressing her, now I can dress her. In a way, yeah. Well, I'm dressing to see, imagine the hip,
Yeah.
where the hip will be.
Yeah.
But we know, we cannot see, but we know
Yeah.
it must be there. Obviously, it's there. And then having a shadow here, and doing those darks. And now within that initial line, I can be now a little bit more accurate and do the calf, which goes in the outer line, thigh and calf with a dark shadow. This thigh here, which we don't actually see much, but I can make it a little bit more visible here. Look, sometimes drawing those lines on the original picture, it makes it far easier to make sense of what we're seeing. So it's very important. And it's good to have it printed because again, you can play around with that on the print and then you can do it on your drawing. And and then obviously this calf, it's on the shadow of the front of this leg, of this calf, of the left calf. Right calf is on the shadow of the left calf. Yes, that's the left calf. That's the right calf and thigh. So that, which is the left, is under the shadow of this leg. That's what I wanted to say, and I confused myself, but as usual. And then you have the foot, the shoe sitting there, shoe. Kneecap is somewhere here. I've given her longer legs. So to compensate for the longer legs that I've given her, I need to keep an eye on the head and the upper body because I can still compensate that. Basically, increase the head, make the head bigger. Then you have side of the face, head, ear, somewhere here, and obviously her hair. And this, which is actually not even, it's barely there, but again, do it on the picture, create a shoulder there, and it will be, again, much easier. And these two shoulders, they look at the same horizontal line anyway, although that should be, logically, that should be a little bit more raised, because you see she's holding her weight with her hands, so that shoulder should be a little bit further up. There. And again, the lower arm and the hand, which we've just done on the previous drawing. Now that is too long to me. Obviously she's holding her weight here with that stick, but what I'm referring is that the hand, or the wrist and the hand, is really close to her crutch. There. There. So obviously there's not much, the size of the hand or the drawing that I'm doing, it's not enough time now, or it's not enough space or room here to create some fingers, but we know that I can draw them. Okay, that hand there, that one here, I'll draw it in particularly, in a bigger, oversized, basically just to see how we can deal with that. We have the thumb, wrist, and the upper arm, wrist. So thumb, knuckle here, thumb again, index finger, middle finger, and something like this. And then you have a stick, which is, she's holding her weight. So that's the zoomed version of the hand, let's say, there. In a quick rough sketch there. And index finger here, middle finger there, basically there, and the thumb. Thumb is, don't forget the thumb, from what I see, it's basically like this. So you cannot see the nail, it's like that. Yeah? It's like this, it's like that. That's what I see there. I might be wrong, but...
No, I think
do you think that, Jane?
Yeah, I think
yes, I think it's the case.
It's hard to do it in small, isn't it? For us to do it. If we had a fine pencil, it might be easier, but with charcoal, I think
it's... or maybe you need a really long charcoal, which I don't have. Oh, I thought it was cut around it. So yeah, that would be easier. It's a longer charcoal, which I should have had from the beginning. There, and then upper this way. Knuckle, 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 knuckle. And again, coming back to the drawing. Putty, putty, putty. So some highlight on my foot here. Highlight. I don't have any line here, but I can create some lines here, which is basically the calf of the left calf, right calf. She's a bit more elegant on the thigh here. I've given her quite a big, she's thinner, much thinner here, so there. And the dress itself, kind of a shadow, keep it light. It's don't forget here, it's not a portrait. It's not a portrait. So don't focus too much on the portrait. And a little bit there. Wider here on the sorry, because I'm getting in on the front, in front of it. And here we are, the dress itself. Folds, we've got folds here. And now with the putty, now stretch the putty, because that putty is quite actually filled up with charcoal. And I better get another clean area here. And then look, work on the folds itself. And then lighter, knee cup, thigh. And although the hip, I cannot see the hip as I said earlier to you, but look, create a, look, if you create that edge there, that creates the impression of the hip. Make it maybe a bit too high or too wide, but it's better than not having any hip at all. So there. And I cannot see that arm, or that hand here, this one. Is she holding something?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, she's doing this. She's doing that. This one, she's doing this. Okay, so that, okay, now that, it's, I'm trying to decipher this one. It's basically, look, check it out. Do that, it's like a, okay, I'll draw this hand apart here. It's like that, and you've got the wrist.
Oh, the thumb is under the fingers, yeah.
Yes, it's doing that, look. And then you got the fingers all plastered up here.
Yeah, she's just playing with her hair.
Yes, she's playing. Oh, she's playing with her hair.
Holding the end
Plait.
of the hand.
Yes, the plait. Yes, exactly.
So that's her little finger.
Yeah,
that's
it is,
the
it's a
thumb.
little finger, yeah, sorry, I'm the wrong side. Yeah,
She's playing with her hair. Yes.
the little finger's just slightly under the,
That might just be all in shadow, I think.
yeah, I think so. All in shadow.
Yeah, keep it all in shadow just to get get rid of the complexity of.
Yeah.
So that arm, or sorry, that hand, together with the arm is like this. Look, a darker shadow, move them together, and then that's her plait, and then that's thumb. We cannot see the thumb, and she's quite dark here. And now you can come and do, look, the fingers themselves. 1, 2. Make a 6. Would make not 6 fingers. Yeah, she's playing around with. There. Dropping it away. Then here. So there. That's the zoomed version of the hand here. Hand is in a vertical line, is right to her. So I'm way too inwards with that. So the hand, look, vertically, just drop a vertical line, it goes right down her shin, most, to be accurate, it's actually the shin.
Which vertical line could you show?
A vertical line, look, vertical line from her hand, drop it down,
Yeah.
down, goes to her kneecap, look, Jenny.
Oh yeah, got
And
it.
so if the kneecap is here, oh
Yeah.
my God, there, I need to come down here. See, if you don't do those lines, which I didn't, I was going more with intuition, but intuition is not enough. It's not enough, and it can lead you in wrong places, which it did. So you need to check constantly. checks and balances, and a little bit more lighter here, lighter to the thigh, there, and push this hand right down there, and this side of her face is in shadow. There we have it. That's a little bit better. And there, and this arm is quite light, this area, and this line, it's very extremely vague. This line here, the line of the arm there, and then you have a little bit of, and then here, move the hand up, out, make this arm a little bit in here. You got the fingers there, as we said, playing with that plate, and then head, and all what is in here is all the shadow. Well, eyebrows first. Again, it's not a portrait, but you could do few, like the most basic elements there: nose, mouth, and eyes. There. Another plate there. Okay, there. Okay. Well, I've got the movement. But it needs more work to refine it. But obviously I don't want to take a lot more time from your time, so come to this part of the drawing, and I can progress it later on a little bit more. I think I've leaned her more than it's needed, but basically given her more movement than what she actually has there. More movement.
She's probably knows that.
All right. Okay, let's get back to the drawing again, and with a little bit more of a detailed view of our task. Now, what I've noticed earlier on is that the thighs are kind of more of a triangular shape here. So something like that. Although again, as I do not see the hip, we don't see the hip, but we know that the hip is there. And you've got a hip, the other side of the hip, which is basically there, could be a little bit wider, and I think it must be a little bit wider. So getting that dress a little bit wider that way, then fold here, fold again, and a few folds is then moving this way. So basically that fold coming through the thigh, another fold there, which basically those two folds, they emphasize the thigh. Do you see how it is happening here on the original image? As I mentioned earlier on, it's nice, well, sorry, it's not nice, it's better when you actually print the image. Not that you cannot work from the tablet, but print an image, you can actually draw on the print and see where you're going and how you're doing. And that is a very thin line. The hand, which is holding the whole weight of the body, is actually a little bit more to the right. So there, you've got the thumb and the fingers there. And that is keeping the weight of the body. Calf, and this side, that calf, which is her left leg, is a little bit more on the inward, so inward on that side, and the shoe itself moves outwards, a little bit more of a vertical line there. Look, these are the correlations. Where the thigh meets the dress, drop a vertical line and go straight to the shoe. So I'm going to thumb in the dress. So I should bring that shoe actually there. They're at the same horizontal line, pretty much. And then obviously I need to move that too. I need to move that cuff too. Or, now there's a choice. I can see the joint here and I can see that I have a mistake here. But how about a compromise? So instead of me moving that, will be easy. I can move that here, there, and redraw it and delete or create a light area here, or keep that where it is. Why not? It's actually quite elegant to keep it where it is. I'm just seeing it now, and I think it's a better solution to leave it as it is, just to be a little bit more accurate. And we know that the light source is from the right, so this area could and should be on the right here. Shin, thigh, and these, her left leg stays as it is. Actually kind of a ghosty image. And why? We've said that many times on loads of other drawings. Because it's the leg which is at the back. So I don't need to do anything here. Well, I mean, of course I could do it, but it's a decision that you have to make, I have to make. And I think it's best left as it is. It's a white dress, transparent dress. I can come and do that there. Maybe give the thigh a little bit more of a lighter tone, which I think is best. But what I can do is sort of creating a line here, and that's not helping us because that line or that thigh moves back. I can leave that as it is and just highlight the foot. There. And the shoe, of course. And she's wearing white tights. Shoe is quite shiny. I don't want to get too much on that sort of detail. It's not necessary and it's not needed there, so I can keep that shoe here. And again, a little bit of, and then shadow, and the shoe itself here. There. How about, yeah, it's not a bad solution actually, and it feels quite natural. So I can highlight that as the thigh, as we said, and a little bit more of a kind of a darker line on the calf here. So emphasize that beautiful muscle here, like that. Again, maybe I don't need it, maybe you don't need it, maybe it's unnecessary, but again, it's a drawing, it's not a photography. So somehow we make decisions. We make decisions here. Now that, I don't want that to be so in my face, so I'm trying to get rid of that stick. I know it's too much like that. Basically, keeping it light. I just want to show that she's actually holding and balancing herself with that stick, but there's no need to go any further than that. So keep it as it is, and a little bit more of a thicker lower arm. That shoulder is lower, yes, and I'll give her a little different we said earlier she's working with the plaits. I need to plaits with her plaits, but I'm thinking of giving her a different, like I've given, like the solution here with the foot. So I've expanded her movement, or disjointed the foot, and now is something that I'm thinking of doing it here actually, which would be a very elegant move too on that side. That would be fingers, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Index, thumb. So there. Something like that. It's like she's opening. Maybe not good. That's too large now. That's a really big hand. But can always make it smaller. How about that? Yes, making it smaller. Trying to get a little bit of a brush. So with this brush, probably it will make it. I can actually darken that here, and erase that shoulder a little bit more. And lower this other one. And leave the hand like this. So I was trying to do that movement, basically giving it, obviously it's her left hand, but something like this, so holding the index finger up. But it's a very tiny drawing as well. I mean, to do that on the finger there, it will require a lot of precision. And I think it will be loaded with lots of details. So I think keep it as light as possible there. Something of that sort. There. Still, we've got the hand, I mean the whole arm there. Maybe I've just noticed that I can make her quite a little bit narrower here on the hips. I think it's too wide. It's too wide. It was. Now it's a bit less. There we are. And dress. Moving the foot here. Getting a shoe a little bit more of a design shoe. Obviously, I'm not actually trying to make a design shoe, but I'm just saying that obviously the shoe is a bit darker than the foot itself. And coming back here, and I can have her plaits here. So she can be still playing with her plaits, but on a different hand position. 3, 4, there. Again, keep it soft, keep it light. And nose, head, roundness of the head, more rounded, ear is quite far away, there. Hair. Bit darker hair here. And she's looking towards us. And she's also smiling. But again, see, that's we run the risk now. You have to take a decision. How much detail you're going to put there? Because it's such a small place to work it with charcoal properly. So I'm now diverting my attention now here on the hand again, but I'm still thinking how much attention should I put on the face? I think it's as little as possible. As little as I can get away with, in the sense that if it makes the impact that I want to make, which basically kind of brown light hair of a certain age, let's say 15 or something like that, or 17. Movement is extremely important. The flow of her movement of her body, the plates, so the plate and the ribbon on the plate, and a little bit more. I'm giving her a bit more even shoulder here. Actually, the whole thing, that whole arm, could and should come a little bit more to the left again. So that's another movement. There, push the hand forward, the whole arm. And place it there. There we are. Okay. Yes, so again, things that you see that they're wrong and they could be moved, so that it will be better if we move them forward or change the position of things. And I think that's a good decision to push her arm completely more to the left. Now why? That started, well, I could see that they are further apart, but also that helps with the shoulder here, so that makes the shoulder a little bit more palatable. And there, middle of the body, more of basically folds, and don't forget it's a white dress, so you don't need to put a lot more shadows on the dress. I think it's good as it is. More of folds here. There. That line follows the folds, and the ribbon follows the folds here. Emphasize that thigh a little bit further up. Again, it sometimes is valuable to create that impression of the thigh and hip there, even though we cannot see it, but it's important because that shows your skills, that shows the understanding of the human body. Again, it's not essential to do, or maybe it is essential, but it's not a necessity. But That's for more of an advanced drawing stage. All those understanding of human, body, the movement of the hips, where the hips are, how the thighs can look, although we're not seeing them. But again, that's more of an advanced stage. Don't have to do it. Okay, now that hand, which is playing with the ribs, I mean the plaits here, it creates a kind of a shadow shade here on the white dress. So keep an eye that shadow will be transparent, light. And cheek, chin, chin, chin. Getting back to the face. Trying to get a smile, but to be honest, it's not essential. Because again, it's a very, very, very small portrait. So it will be will be very painful to work on that area. Again, in the sense that it's just very difficult to get into a lot of details there. So I'm getting a brush here. So kind of a ghostly image here. I think that would be a better solution to that. The hand itself, palm, wrist. There we are, okay. Index finger here, palm, knuckles. And again, it's a bit too strong at the moment. So soften this. Soften all those dark edges. They work better by being softened like this, and also that's a bit of a large upper hand, wide, so narrow it, narrow. That's better. Okay. Isn't that ghostly image? Let's go back to that ghostly image. Ghost is a ghost, yes. So, because you might get probably confused with my accent here. So I'm trying to get it right, the words right. And a bit of a cheek, a bit more rounded, yes, cheek is better there. And with the mono zero rubber, I can get it. That's what I was trying to avoid, because the details are so small here that it's impossible to do it even with a putty rubber. So I'm using mono zero rubber. Spoken to you about that before, mono zero rubber. It's a very useful tool. It's this one here. Buy it from different shops, art shops. Art does have one. They do sell them. Again, I don't want to do too much detail because it will actually not be helpful and it will not be needed. Again, smaller, darker, soft shadow again. Move the fingers into a darker shade together. There's no need to go too bright or too dark, depending. And then we have that here, which is basically knuckle. There, knuckle here, knuckle bone here, and the index finger here, and the middle finger if you like, there. And then the where she's actually holding the weight stick and a little bit more wrist. All right, and then here a little bit more of a rounded bit, more calf. Again, that is a, don't want to go too much, again, too much of the detail on that one. Shoe. Shape of the shoe. A shadow of the left foot onto, sorry, her right foot onto the left foot there. And a little bit more of a bended shoe shape and foot shape. And actually lose the line here. There's no need to do the line there. Okay. So loose, come back, loose, come back. This is basically how the figure breathes. So you don't, it breathes. That's an expression that's used. It's used a lot of in drawing and painting as well. So if you create a contour, then you're actually closing it. But if the contour breaks every now and then, you breathe. So you put in air, you put in light into the form. This is what the breathing is. It's nothing metaphorical, it's actually physical. So it feels that it's breathing. You've got light coming through the background onto the figure itself. Light. And thumb. Thumb there. Okie dokie. So now a little bit lighter onto her foot. Here. Maybe I went too light, too soon, too quickly, but it's okay. It's not too bad. It's quite light because she's wearing Don't forget she's wearing white ties as well. Ties. Tights. Okay. And some emphasizing that eye, which is actually on the light part of the face, and the eyebrow, and a little bit of a smile. As much as I can achieve a smile with such a tiny, tiny details there. And a little bit of a shadow onto the chin. Soften those darks. And I think it's good enough, it's good. It's, unfortunately it's not a quick sketch anymore. Okay. Trying to talk and draw and demonstrate at the same time, it's not easy. Okay, we'll do a quick sketch. Try and do it next week. Quick one, real quick line, a few minutes. All right, okay, that's good enough. What's the date today? 17. All right, see you on the next one then.